All right, in today's video, we are going to be talking about lowball offers and when it's appropriate to make a lowball offer and when it is not. So let's get after it right now. All right, my name is Diana Filkins. I am a realtor serving Missoula and Ravalli counties in western Montana. And I'm here in Stevensville, Montana, and you're going to drive with me as we head north. And we're going to talk about lowball offers. Because if you saw my last video, I'm going to pull a UE. If you've been seeing any of my videos, you will know that I was born and raised in Washington, D.C., and I call that a DC U-turn. So let's head north from Stevensville, which is in Ravalli County, and let's go. On the way, this is really beautiful. There's like a cow farm up here on the left-hand side, and it's just, I love to see the little baby cows. Anyways, lowball offers. So if you saw my last video about the market update from August of 2025, we're still in August of 2025, and I have been making lowball offers on behalf of my buyers, and I have also been receiving lowball offers when I'm representing a seller. So one thing that I wanted to start off with is you have got to take out the emotion when it comes to real estate. Like, you have got to, regardless of what side of the transaction you're on, either a buyer or a seller, remove as much as you possibly can the emotion behind it. A lowball offer should not be an insult, okay? Let me repeat myself. A lowball offer should not be an insult to you as a seller. And you as a buyer, if you are making a lowball offer at an appropriate time, and we'll talk about what that means in just a couple minutes. If you are making a lowball offer, you shouldn't be afraid or embarrassed to make a lowball offer if you are a buyer. And you shouldn't be insulted when you receive a lowball offer, okay? Because all in all, like, this is a business transaction where you are exchanging money for a product, and that is house, land, like whatever. Okay? So let's take the emotion out of it, okay? Let me fix my phone real quick so you guys can see the cows. So when is an appropriate time to make a lowball offer? Let's start with when it is not appropriate time to make a lowball offer. And lowball is very loosely defined. So if it's under a $300,000 property and you go any more than 20 to 30% off, that is a lowball offer in my professional opinion. You can disagree with me, that's fine. And the higher the price point of the home, the more flexibility you have. So like 30 grand on $1 million property is not that big of a deal, but 50 or 60 grand on $1 million property is a bigger deal, or even like $100,000 less would be considered a lowball offer, in my opinion. So if a home has been sitting on the market for less than 2 weeks, and if you make a lowball offer, that's ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous, because it hasn't given the market enough time to put it out there for all the buyers to see. So that is not an appropriate time to make a lowball offer. When it is appropriate time is 6 months. If the home or land or whatever, if it's been sitting on the market for 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, if it's been sitting for that long, or if it sat for a year and then they took it off for a month and they put it back and it's been sitting for another 6 months, lowball offer. And that's all you're going to get if you're a seller. Like, you should just expect it or reduce the price. But if a home has been sitting on the market for 30 days, that would also not be an appropriate time to make a lowball offer. Now, I'm not suggesting that you make an offer at the list price. I mean, it truly depends on the comparable properties, what you're willing to spend, the location, the price point of the home. So it depends on so many things. So I'm not necessarily saying that you should offer the list price, but offering more than 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% off, like, you are going to piss off some sellers, even though you're supposed to take the emotion out of real estate. That's really hard to do, right? But that's the quickest way to piss off a seller, right? And then if your terms suck on top of your lowball offer, like a 60-day closing or a 90-day closing or 3 weeks for a home inspection contingency, or like a low earnest money as opposed to a higher earnest money, shows that you have more interest in the property, and a low earnest money shows that you have lower interest in the property. So now if your terms are solid, where you have a high earnest money, quick close, cash preferably, or a conventional loan, or any other kind of loan that doesn't require anything crazy, like appraisal, like a special appraisal with repairs and lists and stuff like that. That's completely another video for a different day. Then if your terms are solid and then you lowball, like, that makes it a little better as opposed to a lowball and sucky terms. And then the next thing that I wanted to harp on is when you make a lowball offer and the seller chooses not to respond to your lowball offer, it is not your realtor's fault. We cannot control the other party. We just cannot. It was hopefully your decision on what price you wanted to make that offer at. If you ask for your realtor's opinion on what offer price and they suggest making a lowball offer, cool, I do that. But ultimately, it's your responsibility as the buyer to decide on what price you want to offer. So then if your lowball offer doesn't even get a response, or the seller is offended or insulted, it's not your realtor's fault. Okay? It's just not. You can try again if you want, or you could let it go, or you could let it sit for a little longer, whatever it may be. So let's switch gears. When you are a seller and you receive a lowball offer, you have 3 options at that moment in time. You can accept the lowball offer if you choose, if it makes sense for you, and if you've talked it through and you understand what that means for your pocket, go for it. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is you can choose to counter at whatever number you feel is fair. So that could be, you can counter at the list price, you can counter 5 under, 10 under, or literally whatever you want. Or maybe you talk to your realtor about it and you guys kind of decide together, but ultimately it's your decision. And then the third option that you have is to not respond. And a no response is a response in my book. That means that the seller is insulted, offended, and just like doesn't want to even deal with you as a buyer because they think you're not serious, or you don't want it bad enough, or you're just trying to play games, or you want to steal. I mean, that's where the emotion comes into it, right? And you don't want to get to that point where you're insulted, or I'm not going to give this away for free, or I'm not giving this away, they're not getting a deal. Like, none of that. But if your home has been sitting or your land has been sitting for 2 years, you're going to have to move in terms of price, because clearly the market is telling you that you're overpriced. So what I'm trying to get at with this video is, depending on what side of the transaction you are, whether remove the emotion from the real estate transaction. Don't be afraid. If you're a buyer, don't be afraid to make a lowball offer if it makes sense. If the home or land or whatever has been sitting for a super long ass time, go for it. What's the worst they could do? Say no? Don't be afraid to do it. Just do it. And if you're a seller, like, don't get insulted. Don't get offended. Like, it's business. Buyers are just trying to see what they can get away with. So if you have questions about this, or not sure if this is considered a lowball offer, reach out. I would love to continue this conversation. Leave comments down below in the comment section if you have any questions, or call, text, email. All my contact information is down in the description box below. And of course, if you are interested in buying or selling here in Western Montana, reach out. I'd love to help you. I'm not afraid of writing a lowball offer. But if it doesn't get accepted, do not come and blame me, because it is not my fault. I cannot control other people. I cannot control other emotions. I can present the offer in the best light possible, explain why the lowball offer makes sense, and then it is out of my hands. I can make a suggestion on a lowball offer. If that's what you want to do it. Let's do it. But ultimately, it is your responsibility. I want to make it very clear, it is not the realtor's fault if the seller chooses not to respond to your lowball offer. That's just how the cookie crumbles. And we can try again. We can write another offer a little bit higher, or a lot higher, or it depends. How much do you want the property? Do you want it that bad? Can you afford it with a loan? Do you want to pay for it in cash? It depends, right? Are you just trying to see what you can get away with? So I think that's all I have to say. So reach out, call, text, email, leave me a comment down below, like, subscribe, do all the things. And until next time, take care.